is a new blue check mark that has appeared in your Outlook navigation, and it is called Microsoft To Do. Now, if you have toggled on this slider in the upper right of your screen and turned on the new Outlook, you won't even see your old tasks in your navigation at all. You will only see this blue check mark. So you've probably guessed it, To Do is going to be taking the place of what used to be tasks in Outlook. So this familiar clipboard is soon to be absent in your Outlook experience. Let's take a look at what is the same and what is different between these two options. And remember, if you're in the new Outlook, you're not even going to see this clipboard anymore. Now, the old Outlook tasks were actually a part of Outlook itself. It was a navigational item just like your mail or your calendar. And you can see it's even telling me up here to try the To Do app. This is going to be the new place to go for your to-do items. When I go into the To Do app here, this feels like an entirely different experience. It doesn't feel like it's a part of Outlook, and it actually is not. This is actually a browser-based application in Microsoft 365. I'm going to show you how to get to that as well. But you're just seeing access to that app from within Outlook. You'll see access to this app also in Teams. If you're using Microsoft Planner or Microsoft Project, you'll also see access to this app. So things look very different, but let's take a look at what's the same about To Do if you are used to using your tasks in Outlook. First of all, if you are used to flagging your emails to return to later, you can still do this both in the new Outlook and in Outlook Classic. These flagged emails will still appear here in To Do under this flagged email section. So if that helped you create To Do items by flagging your emails, you can still do that. Also the same as your classic Outlook tasks, I can click on these flagged emails. Instead of a right-click menu to get to additional options, I just click right on top of them and this right-hand menu will fly out. This is going to allow me to do a lot of the same things that I could do before. Like I could set up a reminder for myself, I could add a due date for this item if I want to, or change the default due date that was applied. Make it due tomorrow maybe. I can use my existing categories that I'm using on my emails and my calendar. If I want to categorize my tasks, I'm still seeing those same categories back here in my flagged email section of my to-do items. Also, what is staying the same is this is linked up to that email that I flagged. So, days go by, my emails get buried, I need to find this email again. Really easy to open this up here in my to-do and find that email. Now, what if you want to create a to-do item that is not tied to an email? Just like in your old tasks in Outlook, I have a section here for tasks in To Do. This is going to allow me to create a task that has nothing to do with an email. So I've typed in a to-do item here. I'm going to press enter. And similarly, I can click on top of this, get the exact same options I got with my flagged emails. I can set up a reminder. Maybe I want to be notified to do this to-do item. I can add due dates, I can add a repetition schedule if I'd like to, a category. This is all the same stuff you already had in your tasks in Outlook. So what's new here? With this task still selected, look at the top of the screen. I can add steps to this task. So maybe there's more than one item I need to do here. I can add a step here, press add. Maybe I'll add one more step. Add. So now I have a couple of steps set up as a part of this task. I can check these off individually, and I can check off my entire task as complete when it's done. I can either do that here on the right-hand menu or right here on top of the task itself. Now you're seeing at the bottom of the screen completed, and this is something you could do in your old tasks. Sometimes you wanted to look through your completed items. Maybe it's time for your review and you need to go through what you've been working on this year. This is going to allow you to look through your completed items, and you can always get back to those details if you need to. What were those 2 steps I had to work on? Something else that's new here is the ability to add to my day. So any task, if you want to say, I want to work on that today, I can just click right on top of add to my day, and you have a new section here called My Day. And the idea is you can put together items that you're wanting to work on today from your existing tasks or flagged emails or lists, which I'm about to show you. And this is giving me a plan for my day. Now, if I don't accomplish this task today, it's going to fall off my day and I need to re-add it again tomorrow to my day. I also have the star icon here in a couple of places. This is the ability to mark a task as important. So if you end up having a lot of tasks, this is going to make it a little bit easier to find those specific tasks if you would like to, and work with these as their own list. Within tasks, you can also create lists of tasks. This is going to be a really simple project management tool. So if you don't think you need something like planner or project for what you're working on, you just want to make a list of to-do items for maybe a specific project, this might be a good tool for you. I'm seeing this at the bottom of my left-hand menu in To-Do. I can create a new list. And I can add individual tasks to just this list. Now, a couple nice things about working with lists. For one, I think you'll find this helps you organize your tasks if you have a lot of tasks. It's going to put them together in these little groups. I can still favorite any of these tasks. I can still open this up and add any of these to my day, but they're in their own separate space here. The other nice thing about working with lists is you can share this list with your colleagues. So if I decided that I wanted to add a colleague to this list, I can just click on Share. This is going to generate a special link to the person I want to share the list with. So a couple of advantages of sharing your list with people. For one, they're going to be able to see that full list, any items that you add to the list. This is actually going to show up in their own to-do. Second, I can click on any item in the list, and once I have shared that list, I can assign items to people who can see the list. So I can assign this to my other person. That's going to show up as their own task to work on. It's going to show up in their own task list. And as the other person updates their status on this task, maybe they mark it as complete, maybe they add some notes to it, we're both going to be able to see exactly what's going on with that specific task. Now, one of the first things that I mentioned was that this Microsoft To-Do app is its own app. You're just given a shortcut in Outlook to get to it. If you're in your Microsoft 365 suite, look in your waffle in the upper left, look for To-Do, might be in a slightly different place than it is on this list for me. And here is the full web app for To-Do, pretty much identical to what you saw in Outlook, by the way. But the reason it's good to know that this is its own separate app is that this is going to integrate into other apps. So you're going to see the To-Do app integrated as a Microsoft app in Teams, for instance. Or if you're working with something like Microsoft Planner or Microsoft Project, as you assign tasks to people in those project management tools, they're going to show up in individual people's To-Do. Now, here is a trick for you. If you really like Microsoft To-Do and you want to just be able to access that app on its own, kind of like I've got set up down here in my taskbar, here are a couple of ways you can set that up. Now, you will either need to be using Edge as your browser or Chrome as your browser to set this up. So I'm in Edge first, and I've logged into Microsoft 365, and I've found To-Do, just like I just did a second ago. And I'm going to look in the upper right for an ellipses menu. From the ellipses menu, I'm going to go down to Apps, and I'm going to install this site as an app. This is going to create what's called a progressive web app, or PWA. You'll be able to get to To-Do as if it's its own desktop app. It's a little deceptive. You're not actually going to a desktop app when you set it up this way. It's giving you a quick shortcut basically to get to this view without having to go through your browser. So that's how you do this from Edge. Let me show you Chrome next. From Chrome, I'm going to go to my ellipses menu as well in the upper right. And this time I'm going to go to Cast, Save, and Share, and Install Page as App. By the way, if you liked that shortcut, you can do that with a lot of your web-based Microsoft 365 apps, like To-Do, like I just did, or Microsoft Lists if you're working with lists. And if you're working with those web apps a lot, this might be a quicker way for you to access them. You still will need access to the internet for these to function. Again, these are not desktop apps you're installing. They are progressive web apps. So that was a quick look at Microsoft To-Do and how it integrates into Outlook specifically, where I think you'll be using it the most. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope you find some good uses for this application to help you stay organized.